What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe, no days off DFS, here to bring you guys that NBA slate breakdown for the ugly of ugly, probably one of the ugliest slates we have had in a long time. This 5-game slate with a lot of injury news, double-digit spreads in 4 out of the 5 games. It's going to really be key for a lot of the news that we're waiting on getting for today. Some of the news has already come out, some news is popping up, things like that. Hopefully, be able to break it down, give you guys a direction that I think you should go for tonight's building and for the slate. If you guys new here, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content I drop over here on the channel, and drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos help you guys win some money. Yesterday, sorry, no video, was out of town, enjoyed a little bit of a break, but we're back in action. We're back with it. 4 days this week, you guys will get some videos, and of course, all content. If you are still looking for my stuff, because I didn't do any videos, but I still was providing NBA cores and stuff over on the Patreon. For that, link for that is down in the description below. Check it out, only $5. But if you don't want to pay, you can just help your boy out and subscribe. That still helps me either way. Looking at the injury news, Portland really just need to know if Anthony Simons is going to be back or not. That's a big thing right there, because if Simons is going to be out, then I would expect they will move Sharp back into the starting lineup. Even if Simons is in, Scoot looks like he is officially back as the starting point guard, which is pretty good. He's playing well. He's looking like a completely different player. He was a high draft pick anyway, so it's good to actually see him finally starting to get those NBA reps and looking like a number 2 pick from the draft that he was in. Miami, Tyler Hero just popped up on the injury report as a game time decision. Normally, you guys know that late day addition to an injury report typically means that a player is going to be out. So I would not be surprised if we get Terry Rozier starting at the point position or something of that sort. A big thing, though, I do want to pay attention to the Miami starting lineup, because they did shake it up last game with the players that they had. We'll go over that a little bit. For a player that, of course, has been on the radar, been playing very well, and I think we should look to, especially just because the matchup is going up against Portland. Miami, they're not no world beaters anyway. By any means, but this is a good spot for us to attack some of those decent young players, not the Jimmy Butlers of the world. New York Knicks on the back end of a back-to-back going up against Brooklyn. This is typically where we would see a player like Josh Hart or Karl Anthony Towns rest. If they don't rest these guys, then of course you guys know Tibbs runs a pretty tight rotation. Did go into his bench pretty deep last night, which is surprising. McBride got some good minutes. Cameron Payne got some minutes. Landry Shamet got minutes. Precious Achiuwa. That's more than enough guys, more guys than you would expect for Tibbs to play unless he had players injured. So definitely at least not the high minutes that we normally have for the starters over there for the Nets last night. Not for the Nets, for the Knicks last night, but definitely something to pay attention to since it is the back end of a back-to-back. Brooklyn Nets, Ben Simmons has already been ruled out, so we already know we will get point guard D'Angelo Russell out here. One thing you know, D'Lo, he does know how to get those assists. If you're looking for a prop play right there out the gate, just from looking at the injury report, I'd be on D'Angelo Russell just for assists, because he is the playmaker and he does like to get those passes out. Orlando taking on Toronto, the closest game on this ugly slate, and that's why I call it ugly. The closest game, but the lowest total. For Orlando, Cole Anthony is a game time decision. Hopefully he does play today, because I do like his matchup going up against Toronto Raptors. Outside of that, no other news for Orlando. Goga's been out, Suggs has been out, Francis has been out. Those guys, they're out. That's it for Toronto Raptors. Chris Bouchard, who has been getting minutes, playing at least 20-ish minutes over his last couple of games. Game time decision for him to play. Ochai Agbaji and Quickly are already going to be ruled out, so we should know. Davion Mitch, I believe that's his name, is going to get the start. And then, of course, Scotty Barnes is going to be probably running that point guard spot as well. For Philly, again, this is just looking like a tanking of a team. I don't know what Philly is actually doing. But again, a lot of players, game time decision. Joel Embiid, surprise, surprise, is out once again, ducking that smoke with the Joker. Paul George, game time decision, missed the last game. Yabusele, game time decision as well. If these guys are out, then we're going to be looking towards the low, dirt cheap price Philly players again here that you're going to be wanting to build around, unless you pay up for the Nikola Jokic, the Anthony Davis, the LeBron James on today's slate. On Denver Nuggets side, Jamal Murray, game time decision, but expected to play. Same thing for Watson. And then last but not least, we got the Washington Wizards taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Ugly looking game, but I actually do like it. Wizards have shown they can somewhat stay into games, and it's not like the Lakers have the best defense in the world. I do think this game should be closer than what the spread is telling us with that 13.5 right now. We're looking at for the Washington Wizards. They are still without Bagley, without Sadiq Bey and Brogdon. On the Los Angeles Lakers side, LeBron James is a game time decision, and this is he's probable to play. The game time decision is Anthony Davis, and this is the one that we want to pay attention to, because of course AD being out, that shifts a lot of the usage and will open up some value, especially in a good spot going up against the Washington Wizards. Head on over to DraftKings, the site I play the most on the site. If you guys don't got an account, you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. We got the $15 333,000 with 100K up top. New York Knicks, it's the same song and dance that we go through every single time when we're looking at this. Karl-Anthony Towns, Brunson, Hart, Bridges. Towns played in his first game back since he's missed like the last two with that thumb and that chip that he had. Only put up 36.75 fantasy points in 37 minutes. Not the normal Towns game that we were used to, especially going up against Atlanta. A defense I would have expected him to be able to go out there and shred, but shot very poorly from three, shot very poorly from the floor, period, out there. Still was very active, got a ton of assists, was rebounding the ball decently, trying to play defense. Only picked up 2 fouls, which is pretty good for Karl-Anthony Towns. If that scoring comes back around, he's more towards his 20, 25. This is a pretty good spot where he should have the advantage going up against Claxton, but that is a pretty big price tag to play, especially when I got LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and some other players. And center spot is kind of loaded today, so I don't think you have to necessarily pay up for Towns. If Towns was to sit, Towns is going to be out. Then, of course, we will shift our attention to Brunson, Hart, Bridges. OG, of course, like always, he is the wild card play just simply because it's far and in between of what we're going to get from OG. He had a pretty good stretch, 2 games, 30 and 41 fantasy points. Another good spot, weak defense going up against Brooklyn Nets, some turnovers and things like that where he can rack up these defensive stats. But if he's not scoring and snagging those rebounds, he's not really giving us too much at 6,100. That's a bit I'd rather just go ahead and pay up for the player like Mikal Bridges, who has the upside with actually his scoring and what he can bring on the defensive side. Don't mind going up to Mikal Bridges 100 more. You can go right there. If Towns misses, I will be more heavier on Josh Hart and, of course, Precious Achiuwa, who possibly not necessarily going to get the start, but was playing some pretty deep minutes when Towns missed those last 2 games, 36 and 30 minutes, dropping 26 and 29 fantasy points. Good matchup going up against the Knicks. That'll be where I want to look right there. McBride, Sims, Payne, Shaman, unless Towns and Hart gets ruled out, I'm not really too interested, of course, in the bench, just because we know Tips. He runs the starters normally into the ground and they get those high minutes right there. If Towns misses, of course, the biggest main play you're going to want to get from the Knicks is going to be Brunson, just because all the usage, the scoring load that he tends to carry, that goes right there to him. On the Brooklyn Nets side, there is not too much to like. New York, consider a good defensive team, but somebody's got to play with all injuries and stuff that they have. D'Angelo Russell, I like him a lot more since Ben Simmons is going to be rolled out. It's going to pretty much be between him, Keon Johnson, in regards to the point guard duties and role. If he can actually score, goes out there, plays maybe a good 28, close to 30 minutes, do think the upside could be there for him in this matchup. If you can give me what he gave going up against the Lakers, those 27 minutes, 19 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, this would be a good spot for him. Again, like I said, no Ben Simmons, so you know the point guard duties, the playmaking will be in his hands. We could see the upper echelons of maybe 10 assists in this matchup for him. I don't hate it at all in regards to a prop play that you can look to on today's slate. Outside of that, Claxton, Clowney, Keon, Martin, Sharp, all these guys really not too interested in any of them. Not favoring the matchup for them at all here in the spot. Definitely all GPP options that you can get to. None of them really stick out. It's really just going to be D-Lo, especially just because no Ben Simmons and that upside will be there for him. Orlando taking on Toronto. I need to know that Cole Anthony news because that 6,500 price tag, I like it. It's a good spot for him going up against Toronto. It's pretty much Cole Anthony, Paolo. Of course, they have the highest usage over there right now, leading the team and everything that they're doing. And it's a really great spot for whoever plays point for the Magic. Big question, if Cole Anthony is going to be out, then we are going to have to shift and look towards Anthony Black. I would expect for him to get the start at the guard position. Granted, he's showing a much better season than what he did last year. Has the steal and block upside as well. Can play make, and then playing aside all-star player in Paolo, it just does wonder for your confidence in what you're doing out there. 4,400 definitely will be a value play that we can get to. Don't have to worry about playing D'Angelo Russell. I can get at least a similar upside in Anthony Black in what is considered to be the closer game of the slate. Outside of that, GPP options for Tristan Da Silva, KCP, those guys right there, not shoving and worrying about getting to them. Wendell Carter Jr. does have some interest just because he is pretty much the lone big that they actually have healthy. Jonathan Isaac is a game time decision, but since he's been out there and he's been getting those minutes, 33 minutes, 32, 34, he's dropped 49.75, 30.75, 32.5 fantasy points in 3 straight games. So 30 plus fantasy points in 3 straight games. The upside's looking very good for Wendell Carter Jr. We know we can attack Jakob Poeltl, not the greatest defender in the world. So the upside definitely would be there for Wendell Carter Jr. And then, of course, Paolo, if you want to play 8-6 for him, I'd rather just go ahead and figure out how to get LeBron or something like that, just simply because we do know he is still on that minutes limit. Granted, decent matchup. I'm not gonna hate on it at all. But 8,600. I gotta have at least 35 minutes right there for Apollo, right there. Switching over to the Toronto Raptors side, no Iman quickly. This is why I say it's a toss up in regards to really looking at Apollo, because Scotty Barnes is sitting at 8,500. Good matchup, good spot for him. Has dropped at least 40 fantasy points in his last 5 games. Just recently played going up against Orlando a couple of games ago. In 37 minutes, dropped 38.25 fantasy points. Pretty much a fantasy point per minute when he was out there. 20 points, 3 assists, 9 rebounds. That's not bad at all. No quickly, so his assists should go up here in this matchup. The defense, he's been showing it at a pretty high clip over his last several games. 2 blocks, 2 steals, 3 steals, those things like that. That adds up 8,500. I love the upside for what we can get in Scotty. Again, close matchup, close game. I love it. I like it. Outside of that, RJ Barrett, he's been on a tear this season. I don't know what the heck, what water he's drinking, but 45 fantasy points, 51 fantasy points, and arguably 2 of his tougher matchups that he's had over the last couple of games, going against Milwaukee and Boston. Now, if they want to keep it close, again, no quickly, usage are going to be going around to all the main guys, which will be RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes. 7,700. Honestly, you cannot beat that price tag. Do not mind coming down there to him at all. And then last but not least, GPP flyers on Grady Dick, Davion Mitchell, just because he is, of course, getting a start. You can go there. You know, he's going to be out there playing 30-ish minutes. It's a coin flip if you can get over 20 fantasy points for him. Definitely something to consider. With Bouchard, game time decision, if he was to be out, I would imagine that we're going to probably see a couple more minutes for players like Kelly Olynyk. Bruce Brown, he's been getting out there playing about 20-ish minutes in his last couple of games. Really hasn't given too much. Not really trying to get to him. I could see it as we don't get maybe the Philly value, so you can shift down to Bruce Brown. You know he's going to play at least 20-ish minutes, can go out there and get you something. So that's one spot where I could see you can go to, not necessarily have to go to. Again, it'll be mainly those main guys, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett. Little tip to the hat of Jakopoto, 6,200, but I'd rather just go ahead and come down and get Wendell Carter Jr. for the same upside in this matchup. Portland taking on Miami. Scoot Henderson, that's it. Scoot. 6,900, rightfully so. The kid again has been balling. 49, 52, 29, 59 in the starting lineup, playing 30 plus minutes. Finally, the assists are there, the scoring is there. Has been very efficient from the floor. That's the key to him. Very efficient. Hopefully he can keep that efficiency going. Going against Miami, Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. I'm not too scared of those defense. He's a very athletic guard when he was out there on the court. Looks to find other players, playing very well with Denny Avdia, Kamara, Jeremy Grant. If Simons does play, that's not going to take away from the ball being in his hands at all. Simons, he's definitely shifted back to being that 2 guard that we know that he actually is, being out there. So I don't mind going to Scoot Henderson, 6,900. That's really fine to me. If they do insert Shaedon Sharpe back into the starting lineup and Simons is out, that's definitely another play you can go to right there for the 6,200 price tag, but he is more of a GP option. I'd rather just go ahead and get up to Scoot when it comes down to the guards over there. Denny Avdia, for everything that it's worth, dude's been playing pretty well whenever he's out there. Again, 45 fantasy points, 44 fantasy points, last 2 games, Chicago and Miami. So recently just played Miami, of course, dropped a very good game out there. I'd go right back to him. The rebound upside is there. Right now, their centers and stuff are game time decisions. Kling, he's already out. Time Lord, he's a game time decision for whether or not if he's going to be playing today. We know he's a very good rebounder. I know they're going to give those minutes to DeAndre Ayton, but Avdia, whenever he's out there, he's snagging those rebounds left and right and looking very good in that time frame. DeAndre Ayton, of course, got to talk about him, 6,400. I really do hate rostering the dude, but only time you really play DeAndre Ayton is when the other centers are down. You know that he's going to actually have his secure minutes. He's going to play at least 30 plus minutes. I will admit I shied away from playing any props that dealt with DeAndre Ayton just because I've been burnt way too many times when he's in a good matchup, which is a good matchup for him today going against Bam, who's not one of the best bigs in the world. Definitely was trying to consider himself as one, but Bam himself, both of those guys, I really do hate playing either one of these 2. I can't deny the minutes though. I can't deny what he actually can do whenever he's out there on the court, when he's given the time. So I would say you can look to DeAndre Ayton as possible play today, 6,400. But again, I got Wendell Carter Jr. I got Jakopoto I can get over here on the slate. I might pay up for Anthony Davis or the Joker on today. So DeAndre Ayton, GPP option, you can look there. Not the biggest fish that you want to get to over here. For me, it really is going to be Scoot Henderson is the one I really do have my eyes on if I do take anything from this Portland side, and then Denny Avdia will be the next one up. Jeremy Grant, he's back, he's playing his minutes, but very poor point per minute producer when he's out there on the court. Really have no true interest in going right there to him. On the Miami side of things, if Hero is out again, I would imagine that Terry Rozier gets the start right there. It's Kind of weird over here for Miami because Highsmith started last game, played 8 minutes, but I'm pretty sure he might have got injured and whatnot. But what looked very good over here for them is 4,200 Khalil Ware. Finally, that big breakout game. You see when he gets those minutes, 34 minutes, 42.5 fantasy points, 33 minutes, 41.75, and was playing next to Bam. Played a lot of minutes next to Bam in that last game that they just played going up against the San Antonio Spurs. And they whooped the Spurs up and down that court. 34 minutes, 42.5 fantasy points. If they decide to actually let Ware start, I even am enticed to even look towards Ware just because when he's out there, the dude is producing. And hey, if this game magically blows out in Miami's favor, Ware should be out there on the court anyway. Great spot for him. Not scared of DeAndre Ayton defense, not scared of Time Lord's defense. The kid can actually knock down from 3, plays very good defense, rebounds the ball very well, and is a proven scorer. 4,200. Really looking more towards the young guys over here, especially if Tyler Hero is going to be out. Not too interested in Jimmy Butler. We know he's just going through the motions. He's trying to get traded, but I'm not really giving forth his best effort. Still playing minutes. Surprisingly, still playing significant minutes. 33 and 28 minutes are not small minutes in rotations to be playing. I definitely understand you're paying him a pretty fat check, so you might as well go ahead and run him out there and get some usage out of him, but not worth paying 7,500 for Jimmy Butler. Bam Adebayo, flip side, yes, we have to look towards Bam, but again, his production has been just plain shit. I would rather take the GPP chance on Khalil Ware when it comes down to it. Very much a GPP option. Tons of better centers on today's slate. Not even going to worry about looking or going towards him. Jaime Jaquez with Jimmy back. He's definitely splitting the minutes at that small forward position. Another one that you can look to, has decent upside, was on a couple of his props, especially those rebounds and those points today. Outside of that, 5,100 is a bit too much. I would rather just take my chance on Khalil Ware when it comes down to it. If there is no Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier does get the start, we have to look to him. 4,800. Hopefully he would be able to go out here and produce some upside like what he did going up against the Spurs in 31 minutes, 35 fantasy points. Denver Nuggets, 24 minutes, 29 fantasy points. It's just going to all be a matter of what Terry Rozier do we actually get. Is he going to actually be out there knocking down shots? Going up against Portland, you should be able to, especially at the guard position. So those would honestly be the options that I would take right there. Duncan Robinson, GPP option. Highsmith, I don't know why the hell you would be playing Highsmith with everyone pretty much back. They don't even... Miami doesn't even like playing Highsmith. I don't know why you would play Highsmith. Over here for the Philly side, we have to know if Paul George is going to be in. We have to know if Yabusele and Andre Drummond. If Drummond is in, I actually like Drummond. 4,900. When he gets the minutes, Drummond can produce. We just need to know if he's going to be good to go, going to play his normal allotment of minutes. I don't mind going towards him here. We have picked on Denver with opposing centers, and what better center to pick on them than a prolific offensive rebounder and one that can actually go out there and drop a double-double in 20 minutes. Drummond, 4,900. Don't mind looking towards him because Yabusele is not going to be able to hold a candle to the Joker if he has to go out there and try to guard him today. Also, if Paul George is out, we already have Embiid out. Tyrese Maxey, 9,900. I honestly don't see myself paying this much for Tyrese Maxey just because he is so heavily relying on knocking down those 3-point shots and just his scoring. If he's not doing that, he is not going to pay off that 9,900 price tag. That is straight just way too much for me to even consider paying for him, especially if Paul George is actually going to be in. If Paul George is in, you can look towards him, 8,100. Whenever he's been out there over his last couple games, he has been playing pretty well for those games. Decent matchup going up against Denver. I would imagine with the way the spread looks that he's going to be out. That's honestly where I'm leaning. So Maxey, just because they're out, I say GPP, but I do think that is a bit much when there are some better guards and good spots that we can go to versus having to pay up for him. Just like on the flip side of this game, looking at the Denver Nuggets side, why would I pay up for Maxey when I can get Jamal Murray, who's in arguably just as good of a spot, 7,400? Or if Jamal Murray misses, Russell Westbrook at 6,400, who, if you look at his game logs, 25, 26, 25, 26, blowout, 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 blowout. Don't even worry about it. He's not getting those minutes because those games have been blown out. Why am I going to play one of my very good fantasy point per minute players, definitely a game changer in these blowouts? There's no need to. You don't need them. Give it to the young guns. Let Schroeder go out there and play. Let Watson go out there and play. I don't have to play those huge minutes anymore because the game's not close. But if Jamal Murray's out, then yes, I'm going to be looking to play Russell Westbrook because those guard uses, that time, the ball's going to be in his hands, the playmaking, those duties, just the 1-2 punch between him and the Joker. It's all going to be there for me. I definitely would look towards that. Do want to know if Jamal Murray is going to play. I do expect for him to play, but I think those would be pivots off of trying to play Tyrese Maxey. Now, I will say Philly has been able to stay in some fights lately. They never die. Honestly, I think I watched the last game that they played where everyone pretty much missed and they were running out those random players out there, Ricky Council, Bona, Edwards, those guys, and I was like, who the fuck are they? But they went out there and they did their thing. If Paul George is out and Yabusele, I did forget to mention this, then we're going to look towards the Ricky Council, the Bona, the Edwards, and things like that. If Paul George is in, do not even consider those guys. I'm not going to look towards it. I'll take my chance on Khalil Ware instead. And if you want to play the blowout factor, you think Denver's going to be able to go out there and blow them out, yes, definitely look towards the Ricky Council, the Bona, and those things like that. But if you think that the game might be close, I'm not even going to worry about touching them or going to that position spot. The Joker, if you got enough value on today's slate, go ahead. This doesn't necessarily shape it to be a Joker slate. I don't think so. If Jamal Murray misses, then I can see it being a Joker slate. But again, that value on today's slate looks very slim. Outside of that, Christian Braun, he's definitely been going off because of the blowouts. 38 fantasy points, 14.5, 29 fantasy points. So the games that where he was getting at least over 30 plus minutes, went out there, put up some pretty good numbers. 4,500 other plays that I feel like we can get to that we don't need to necessarily go and chase that. Julian Strother would be one, especially if Watson misses, but he is expected to play. Watson will be another one if you think the game was to blow out. Michael Porter Jr. will be like the last GPP option that you can go to on the slate right there. Washington Wizards taking on Los Angeles Lakers. I am struggling right now to decide if I want to do a game stack of this game just because the fast pace of Washington, Lakers play no defense. If Anthony Davis misses, which if I was to make a game stack of this, and I'm talking about for a parlay, work with me. Last time I gave a parlay out over here, it hit. So looking at it, Washington, I can see myself looking towards Jordan Poole, and this would be straight up just off the cuff GPP style. I'd take Poole for maybe 3 threes, 15, 20 points. Wouldn't even touch his assist today. Definitely will look towards Jonas Valanciunas. I could see a possibility for a double-double just because if Anthony Davis plays, I don't think I can run Sar enough minutes and time out there with the style of player that Anthony Davis is. I just don't see them being able to do that in this matchup. I would think you were going to have to play J-Val a little bit more minutes than what you normally allow him to go out there and do. And if you look at what J-Val has done his last game, going up against Sacramento Kings, against Sabonis in 23 minutes, 23 points, 12 rebounds. He's cooking. 9 rebounds, 5 points, 8 rebounds, 11 points. Double-double is definitely in his cards, and he can definitely do it. If I was to take him today, for a fact, I would take him for at least 8 to 10 rebounds. I'd take the risk and take him for the 10 rebounds. Lakers take a ton of jump shots, definitely miss them because nobody can shoot over there. LeBron be bricking half the daggone time. Anthony Davis, depending on what Anthony Davis you get for the day, he's definitely going to toss up some duds out there as well. But I would definitely take him for about 8 to 10 rebounds. I could see another 8 to 10 points as well right there. As one. And then Kuzma, surprisingly, he's been playing a little bit better over his last couple of games. 26.75, 35, 21, 42.75 fantasy points. If the game was to actually stay close, we can be looking towards Kyle Kuzma to actually go out here and do something. I'd take him for the flat minimum of 15 points would just be what I just safety when it comes down to it. But DFS standpoint over here on the Washington Wizards side, Jordan Poole would be just the oddly enough most consistent player that I would consider playing. And it's not because he just dropped 54.75 fantasy points versus the Golden State Warriors, which if you know, you know. If you don't, look it up. If the shot goes in, he just actually plays very well. Like it's just point blank period. I do like trying to ladder his threes, taking them for 4 threes, 5 threes, 6 threes. That's something I always like to take with Jordan Poole. It hits more often than not, but last couple games it hasn't, except for versus the Golden State Warriors. That was the only game that it's hit recently. Outside of that, Carson Carrington or Bub Carrington, you could look there. Koulibaly, you could look right there. Wouldn't mess with Keontae George. Wouldn't mess with Corey Kispert. Wouldn't mess with Champetti. Sar, again, I just feel like this is a spot where he gets himself into foul trouble, and I'm not too interested in going to him or playing him here in the spot. On the Los Angeles Lakers side, if Anthony Davis misses, again, the value play that you have right there, smacking you dead in the face, Jackson Hayes, 3,400. Last time AD missed, Jackson Hayes went out there and played 30-plus minutes. 30, not versus the Brooklyn Nets. Where is that last game? Cannot remember which game it was, but 33 minutes versus the Brooklyn Nets. He dropped 18.25 points right there in that game. This is a player, when given the chance and a good matchup, can go out there and give us a ton of value and a ton of fantasy points. 18.5, that's still not bad for him. Definitely could see him getting into the 25-ish, depending on the usage rate that he has out there. But if Anthony Davis misses, we really are going to focus on LeBron James, 9,800. Of course, why would we not want to go there? And then Austin Reeves, 8K. I'd go right back to that. Right now, I really don't want to mess with Austin Reeves if AD is in, just because he tends to be the third player when it comes down to it, the pecking order over there for them. But if AD misses, then it is LeBron and Austin Reeves show, and then I will have a lot of interest in him. I highly doubt we're going to get an update on Anthony Davis throughout the day. It's already going on 3 o'clock in the afternoon over here. I highly doubt we're going to get that news right there. But if AD misses, I definitely do think you should be looking towards Austin Reeves, and possibly could be low on, because who wants to pay that price tag right there, unless you're going to take the gamble. Now, he is questionable just due to the right calf soreness. He's on the injury report left and right. I honestly don't know how to take it right there. All I know is that LeBron is probable to go ahead and play. 9,800, not bad. LeBron going up against the Washington Wizards. Last couple of games, 55, 55, 46, 37, 45. Who's not going to want to play LeBron? Finishing out that ladder over here, LeBron James, his assist, of course. LeBron James for 15, 20 points, of course. Austin Reeves, at least 2 threes, and take him for about 15 points as well, especially if Anthony Davis was to miss. If Anthony Davis misses, that would be pretty much it right there that I want to take. I don't want to trust Max Christie, not going to trust Rui Hachimura, not looking towards Dalton Connect, Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney-Smith, none of those guys. Only one I would consider, and that's if Anthony Davis was to miss, would be Jackson Hayes, just for maybe like 8 rebounds, 10 points type thing. If AD is in, I take him for 2 blocks, 10 rebounds, and I give him about 20 points would be what I see right there on that side. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully, you guys were able to get a little something from this video. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the content that I'm dropping over here. And if you want to check out the player pool, the core, all that good stuff, check the link down in the description below for the Patreon. All that stuff is already going to be uploaded over there. Props have already been posted early today. A couple of slips have already been posted as well. Good luck to everybody. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.